Hi guys, this is my next video and this video is going to be a first impressions video. So I've not done one of these before, but I've got two new products that I really wanted to use and I wanted my first reaction to be caught on camera because I wanted to give a real honest review of them. So the first product is a Laroc product. Now I've used this for my contouring palette video and I reviewed the brushes as well, and they've sent me these Laroc Beginners Collection. Now the reason I wanted to do a really honest review of these brushes is because from first look they do look an amazing dupe for the Real Techniques brushes and they are a fraction of the price. So I really wanted to give an honest review, and so I'll be using these and incorporating them into a makeup routine. The other product that I'm going to be kind of reviewing first impressions of is the Tanya Burr Cosmetics Galaxy Eye Palette. Now from first glance I have swatched these but I haven't used them yet. They are just the most beautiful colours and I'm just really hoping that the payoff from these is as good as they look. I know these are new out and I know they're probably really popular because of Tanya's YouTube channel and everything like that, so I thought I'd give a real honest opinion, and I got them for £6, so I think that's a pretty good bargain actually for a quad eyeshadow palette. So I'm going to get started with the makeup look using these new products that I'm going to be reviewing alongside doing my makeup. So hope you enjoy it and keep watching. I'm sticking with the MAC Studio Fix Fluid and I'm just going to be applying a few pumps of this onto my hand and then onto the brush. So for kind of first impressions of the foundation brush, I'm actually really pleasantly surprised. The brush itself is really soft. It's not as coarse as the Real Techniques brush. It's a lot softer and it feels a lot smaller on my skin, but it buffs really nicely into the skin, and for first impressions I'm really impressed with this. And honestly, you could tell by the colour of the brushes. I hadn't used these before and now they're obviously got foundation on them, so I promise I have not used these before right now, so this is a real first impressions, but honestly I'm really happy with that. I think that really competes with the Real Techniques brush. I mean, obviously I've only used it once, but on first impressions, very impressed with the foundation brush. Now the next brush that I would have kind of incorporated, I guess, into my makeup routine is the small kind of, I don't know what brush it's meant to be for. I tended to use it for concealer, but I'm guessing it could be used as a kind of eyeshadow as well. So I'm going to use it to apply this. This is the most craziest concealer. It's called Attitude Tea Tree Concealer, medium to dark. This concealer cost me 79p. So if we're talking budget makeup, then I feel like this is the one. You kind of apply it like a lipstick, but I'm just going to use the brush to apply that to areas that kind of need it most and see how I get on with this brush. So I've kind of used that to apply certain areas of my concealer, and on first impressions it is a nice textured brush. It isn't as fat and doesn't have as many bristles, and it's quite thin, I don't know if you can see, compared to the Real Techniques brush. So I'm thinking that actually this brush would be much better for an eyeshadow brush, whereas the Real Techniques brush is a lot fatter, so you find it easier to work the concealer in. But the texture of the brush is really nice, it picked up the product really well, and I'm now just going to move on to the buffing brush, which I think looks pretty similar. So I'm going to use this to buff in the concealer and see what I think. So I've kind of just started to buff that in, and I am literally quite blown away by this buffing brush. I love this. This is, I'd say, even better than the Real Techniques one. I would definitely say that. But just to make sure, I'm going to use a bit of a thicker liquid concealer, which is this Match Perfection Rimmel London concealer. I've got it in the colour Ivory. I got this last week and I have to say it's one of the best concealers I think I've ever used. And I'm just going to apply that in the same kind of areas just to really test this Laroc buffing brush. Now just on top of here and a bit down here. So I'm just going to now use the Laroc brush to buff this in. Yep, that is amazing. I cannot say any more about this buffing brush apart from I love it, and I just can't even believe how well it works. Honestly, it's amazing. Now the only other brush that comes in the set is the flat kind of brush, which is this one. But the one that it's duping from Real Techniques is this one. They look very similar, but I don't actually use this one even from the Real Techniques. But from the feel of it, it's very soft. It's not as coarse as the Real Techniques brushes. So I imagine it works just as well, but I don't actually use the Real Techniques one of this. So I'm not going to incorporate it because it wouldn't be fair to compare them, seeing as I don't actually use the Real Techniques one either. So I'm just going to do the rest of my face apart from my eyeshadow, and then I'll get onto the Tanya Burr Eyeshadow Quad. Now I've done the rest of my makeup, I've done my eyebrows, the rest of my face makeup, and I've applied a bit of lip liner over the whole of my lips. I know it probably doesn't look too great at the moment because I've got nothing on my eyes are very tiny. So let's get straight into the Tanya Burr Cosmetics. So from first glance, just looking at the eyeshadows, I think they look beautiful. I'm not sure if they're going to be an exact match for my eye colour and eye shape, but I really wanted to try some more different colours rather than just using the same old eyeshadow I always use. So I'm going to take this fluffy brush first and use the colour Snowflake, which is this white colour, just to add a touch of white to the underneath of my brows. And just see what I think about that. Oh wow. You really, really don't need a lot of that. That is very, very shimmery. So you really don't need too much of that at all. You really could just do with adding a touch of it to that top part there. I really, really like that colour. Really, really like that colour. I probably would have paid £6 just for that colour on its own, I think. Just going to slightly take that down just to soften out the concealer that's already on my eyelids. Wow, I really do like that colour. Now I'm going to use, what am I going to use? I'm going to use this buffing brush, I think, and I'm going to apply the colour Stormy Sky to the crease of my eyelid and see how that works. Right, so I'm just going to add a touch of that into my crease. Oh wow, that's a really, really nice colour. No, it's got a really nice colour to it. The payoff is really nice. I was thinking that these weren't going to be a very good payoff because it was only £6 for the 4. But that is a really lovely colour. Like a kind of light kind of browny. It's got a tinge of kind of purple to it. That is really, really nice, and the payoff of that is lovely. I am now going to add a touch of this Moonlight colour, I think, with a small little brush like this. I'm just going to add that to my general eyelid area. Now I think this is going to be quite glittery, so I'm not going to do too much. And I'm just going to apply it here on the tops of my lid. Oh, okay, it's not as glittery as I thought it was going to be actually. But I just want to apply it here to kind of lighten that part of my eye. Okay, it is quite bright. It is very shimmery actually. The last colour that's in the palette is the colour Starry Night, and I am very concerned about this colour. I don't normally wear colours as dark as this. So I'm going to pick a brush, kind of a precision brush, I think, like this. I think this is an eyebrow brush. And I'm just going to add this ever so slightly in the corner. It's almost got a kind of a dark grey kind of colour to it. And I'm thinking this is going to be quite dark, so I'm just going to add this into the outer V. Yeah, that is quite dark, and it's a lot darker than I think I'm normally used to. So I'm just going to slightly run that in the outer V. Might actually take this Starry Night colour and add that to the bottom lower lash line. And then I'll buff that out. Oh wow. Oh, that's quite nice actually. Do you know what? For £6, that is an amazing eyeshadow palette. I am really, really impressed with that, and I'm really hoping that it's come across. This is the Galaxy eyeshadow palette. I got this from Feel Unique website, £6, and they were doing a 10% off as well at the time, so I got it for like £5.40 or something. That is amazing. That's 4 really beautiful eyeshadows that work really nicely as a 4, but also you could easily wear those on their own with other eyeshadows. I am really very impressed with that. I'm just going to put a bit of mascara on and then I'll round up the video. So I've just finished my makeup. I've put a bit of the Benefit Roller Lash Mascara on, and yeah, I'm really happy with both those products. I am so impressed with the Laroc Beginner's Collection brush set. I think this is an amazing dupe for the Real Techniques brushes. I think for some people, the Real Techniques brushes are just too out of their price range. This is an amazing alternative. I think they're about £5 on Amazon. I'll link them down below so you can go and grab yourself some. I just can't believe it. I've used the Real Techniques brushes for about a year now, and I could easily swap to these, and now I'll just incorporate both sets into my makeup routine. But if you're a beginner, or even if you're not and you just fancy some new brushes, I really would recommend these. They are cheap, but they don't feel cheap. They don't feel like cheap brushes. They feel good quality. Just amazing, amazing dupes. So go and check these out if you are interested. And as for the Tanya Burr Cosmetics Galaxy Eyeshadow Palette, I'm really, really happy with these. I was a bit dubious considering the fact that it was only £6. I thought it won't have a good payoff, the colours won't be as vibrant, but they are really, really lovely. Even from first glance, they do look gorgeous, and they have an amazing payoff, and they work well together as a 4, as a quad. And if you want to try an eyeshadow routine using this, to get this, then you can just use my kind of first impressions video as a tutorial. If you'd like me to do a more in-depth tutorial on this, then I will do, but I think this is a really, really beautiful kind of subtle smoky eye look that you can achieve with the Tanya Burr Cosmetics palette. So that's the end of my video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope it's been informative. I'm hoping that it won't be too long. I don't want to ramble on too much, but I really wanted to give my kind of first genuine impressions of these 2 products. So if you've enjoyed it, go and buy these 2 products. I would definitely recommend these for anybody. And yeah, they're just brilliant, and I'll link them all down below, and I'll see you in my next video.